He was known for strength, for presence, for portraying a man the world believed could never be broken. But long before the fall, he was simply a man with passions, one of them being horses. On a warm day in May of 1995, during what should have been an ordinary equestrian event, something went horribly wrong. The horse stopped short. He didn't. And in a fraction of a second, everything changed. He landed headfirst. The impact shattered the uppermost portions of his spine, the C1 and C2 vertebrae. The diagnosis was immediate and devastating: a high cervical spinal cord injury. At this level of injury, the body loses nearly all communication below the neck. The brain can no longer send signals to the muscles. Even breathing, something most of us never think about, becomes impossible without assistance. This condition is called quadriplegia or tetraplegia, one of the most severe forms of paralysis. And for decades, it came with a nearly universal belief: there would be no recovery. In the days that followed, he faced a question many never say out loud. How do you continue when everything you once were is gone? For a moment, even he wasn't sure. Then a voice cut through the silence. His wife. "You're still you," she told him, "and I love you." And in that moment, the story did not end. It began. Instead of retreating, he chose something far more difficult: visibility. He allowed the world to see him, not as he had been, but as he was, dependent on a ventilator, unable to move, yet fully present, fully determined. At the time, spinal cord injuries were considered permanent, but he refused to accept that definition. Through relentless advocacy, fundraising, and public pressure, he helped redirect attention toward neuroregeneration research, stem cell therapies, functional electrical stimulation, activity-based rehabilitation. Scientists began to reconsider something once thought impossible. Could the spinal cord heal? Could dormant pathways be reawakened? Could paralysis be reversed? And slowly, something remarkable began to happen. Research accelerated, funding increased, and hope, once dismissed, returned to the conversation. Even he experienced small breakthroughs: a flicker of movement, a return of sensation, tiny victories with enormous meaning. But perhaps his greatest contribution wasn't scientific, it was human. He gave a face to paralysis, a voice to millions. He stood, figuratively, before lawmakers, doctors, families, and patients, and refused to let the world look away. He challenged the idea that a life with paralysis was a life without purpose. Years later, complications from his condition would take his life. But by then, the narrative had already changed. Because of him, paralysis was no longer seen as the end of the story, but the beginning of a new one. He once said, "A hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles." And in the end, the man who showed the world what true strength looks like, the man who redefined hope, was the very same man who once convinced us he could fly. His name was Christopher Reeve. This is the moment where history became human again. This is Behind the Diagnosis, Famous Lives Untold, the life you knew until the diagnosis. Join us again this Thursday as we will have a very special bonus episode. Until then, be well.